there's no option to specify any size. Okay, we'll do the file blocking thing, so it will be further more clear.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, not an issue. Thank you.
So
So Dhansu, I have one small question.
fine.
Some of we have some of the application like web-based application. Okay, and we have allowed web application like web dot whatsapp dot coms, for example. Okay, and we have denied from the services. So web browser should be denied. So which one applied before? Like it will allow or deny?
I didn't get you. What have you allowed and what have you blocked?
We have allowed web-based application like web.whatsapp.com, from the applications field. If we are creating a policy, I'm allowing yes from here.
Okay,
So
you,
see, this is the
suppose
web.
you take WhatsApp web and you
Yes,
block it now. Okay, fine.
yes, and I have blocked from the services browser-based browser-based from the services tab. So it will allow or deny.
See, it's like this. Let me just double check whether this is what you wanted to ask. Suppose, okay, let's just add a rule. You said inside, going to outside. You have said you don't think so. WhatsApp web. And now, what have you done here on service?
Like
You created a new service.
yes, yes.
Or
Here, suppose I have denied web browsing. Web browsing means yes, HTTP or HTTP, whatever we are opening the web, WhatsApp. I think
okay.
HTTPS only.
Are they in the same rule?
See, I have allowed only for the web WhatsApp. Suppose, for example, web WhatsApp, but I have denied the other thing is like HTTPS related to HTTPS.
Okay.
So first,
So you have one rule which says allow this, right?
yes,
Okay. And then you have another rule. I'll just clone this.
are you getting my point? Actually, see, the scenario is we have a one user,
That's
and
what I'm trying to clarify. Okay. In that you have said any and said what? Hello.
yes,
Let me just lock WhatsApp. Okay, so we have allowed this and blocked what? Out of these two, this is the one with app ID. This is the one with application. Now, which one of them is allowed and which one of them is blocked?
the first one like web WhatsApp applications and
Is allowed,
services is allowed.
but
So
service HTTP or HTTPS is blocked.
So my scenario is we have one user and we don't want to allow web WhatsApp. Okay, but if they need to, they want to open the other web services, they can, he can open. And for other users, they don't. We won't allow to the web WhatsApp, but other applications they can open.
So you have one user for
Basically,
whom you,
just I want to ask the application or services, both tab. Which rule comes the first?
okay, it's not like that. Okay,
Mhm.
application and service tab, it doesn't work like that. Like I'll give you an example. Okay, it's not like about who takes priority here. If you have both of them in the same role, okay, like I'll give you an example. Suppose we make a security policy, okay, and we say in the app ID, okay, we say web browsing, okay, in the application tab we have mentioned it, okay. Now when you talk about the service tab, okay, suppose you don't specify anything there, okay. For general web browsing, like HTTP based web browsing, here you have this, okay. So suppose I do this, okay, and suppose I don't mention anything in the service, okay. What is there by default?
App default.
Application default, okay.
We
Right?
have any option also, na? Right.
Yeah, but
Okay.
let's say suppose we have application
Mm.
default,
Mm.
okay. Now if you do that, what you have said is web browsing means, you know, people accessing all the websites using HTTP,
Mm.
okay. But on the standard port number of 80, if you say this.
Mm.
So it's not like who takes precedence. It's like these two are used in a combined way to tell whether you are allowed or not. Like suppose, I'll give you an example. Suppose if somebody is trying to genuinely send web browsing traffic, but they are trying to utilize some other port number, okay? Like suppose, you know, a lot of them use 8080, okay? Then this rule will not allow them, because application default means use the standard port for web browsing. Don't use the non-standard port, okay?
Okay.
Or suppose, let's take another example. Suppose this is one requirement. Suppose there is another requirement in which what happens is I have HTTP traffic coming or going whatever, but I want the port number used is 8080, okay, or whatever other port number you want to use, okay. Then for this, if I want to allow, I'll create a security policy in which I'll say application is web browsing, but in service I'll create some new service, okay,
For the port
which will
create
mention
service.
that TCP port number 8080.
8080. Yes.
Are you getting my point?
Yes. Yes.
Now, if you do, suppose go to make a security policy, and if you do this application, web browsing, and you say service any, then you have left that, the application should be this, but the port could be standard, could be non-standard, we don't really care.
Hmm.
Okay, so it's not like who takes precedence. Both of them in the same rule will be utilized to check, parallelly.
Parallelly. Okay.
Okay, like it should be this application and any port number it will work. It should be this application and it should utilize the standard port numbers. Application default means the standard port numbers for that. Okay, and in this case you are saying it should be web browsing, and if it uses port number 8080 okay, it's just like suppose I introduce user into this. Okay, in this security policy I introduce user, and if I mention that suppose there is a user group of HR who is allowed, okay, then these three are all match criteria. Okay, that means web browsing will be allowed, okay,
Mhm.
but only for this user group, not for everyone. So these are all match criteria. Are you getting my point? Like even if you add more, all the tabs that you have, suppose I
Yes.
add a user group here, HR application, you cannot compare like whether user will take precedence or application. These will be all match criteria and they'll be used parallelly. Like this should be matched. The user should be from HR. The application should be web browsing. They should utilize standard port number. Then only they are allowed. Okay. I hope it's
Yes.
clear.
Actually, I was facing the same issues. That's why I'm asking because
Mhm.
actually I have allowed the SAP application. So in the SAP
Mhm.
application, there is a lot of port are using 80 port 80 443 8000 8001 something. Okay, but
Mhm.
the user was facing the like port 8000 is not working, and some of the port number is not working. So I have
Mhm.
created the new policy for this and allowed
Mhm.
manually port 8000, some of the other port 8001. Then
Mhm.
it was working. So that's why
Mhm.
I was confused why the behaving of this uh,
Okay,
rule.
got it. So if you use multiple of these things, which we are going to do later, like when we'll do user ID, we'll use user ID along with app ID, and we can have the service as well. Okay, but when you add multiple of them together, they are all match criteria. They all need to be matched in order for the traffic to be allowed. If one of them fails, it will not be considered a match.
Okay.
Okay,
Sudhanshu, does proxy play any role with Palo Alto?
does what?
Proxy play any role with the Palo Alto?
See, preferably if you are using Palo Alto, I don't think you require proxy, but still, if somebody is utilizing, it depends on how the proxy is configured.
Because I am not much aware about it, but in our work environment, they are using Blue Port. Like
Yeah,
we have,
Blueport proxy is very famous.
yeah. So I'm not aware about that. So like, what role does it play? Because like we have any dedicated team for
Mhm.
firewall as well as Blue Port. So we do a basic troubleshooting, and like if we are not able to do like from our end, we will pass on the INC to next level team, like that. So like whenever any Blue Port related proxy comes, we are not like able to troubleshoot anything. We directly send to firewall team. So like that's why I wanted to ask like what does a role like proxy plays with firewall.
Now this will take the class completely away from what we are discussing.
Okay.
So let's stop there. Let's
Okay.
not go into that. And again, see, proxy is basically just like the proxy. Like you, uh, instead of going directly, you go always through the proxy. Okay, so that you can have some rules on the proxy for maybe URL and all these things. Okay, but let's not go into that because that will take us away from completely the topic that we are discussing.
Okay. Okay. Not an issue.
Okay. So I was telling you that we have something called Applipedia. Okay, and you can search for a particular application here. Okay, and if you look at that, they have categorized it into different subcategory, like all the applications. Suppose you're irritated from people listening to songs on like Amazon Prime Music or this that whatever apps they are using. You can block based on subcategory as well. Okay, if you block based on subcategory, if you see audio streaming, it includes lot of things. It includes Amazon Music, it includes Tubi Music, it includes iTunes, and lot of different things. Okay, so what happens here is you can block things based on subcategory and category as well. Okay, also you can block or allow based on technology. Suppose uh, you feel like uh, you know uh, peer-to-peer technology I don't like. Okay, it's used by a lot of different applications. Okay, like torrent uses peer-to-peer. Okay, so maybe you want to block this technology based thing. You can block that as well. Okay, if you see Azurius, it's also file sharing torrent like thing, BitTorrent. Okay, now it depends on what kind of thing you want blocked. Okay, also what they have done is each application here is given a risk factor, one being the lowest risk, five being the highest risk. Okay, and if you want to say like, okay, I don't want to allow any application based on risk factor 5, you can block that as well. Okay, now how is risk factor analyzed? It's risk any application's risk factor is analyzed based on some characteristics. Like suppose I search for Skype here. Okay, if you look at Skype here, okay, I'll click on this. They analyze these characteristics, like, is the application evasive? Means, does it use port numbers dynamically? Yes, it does. Okay. Does it use excessive bandwidth? Yes. Is it prone to misuse? Yes. Is it capable of file transfer? Yes. So all these applications, the more can it be used by malware, has known vulnerabilities, very widely used SaaS. So the more yeses you have, it's more likely that the risk factor will be higher. Okay, and this comes in handy also because the network engineer sometimes doesn't know in detail about the full application. Okay, like you cannot go and learn all the applications. Maybe somebody is trying to utilize a database application. Okay, you can have the basic characteristics just from here. Okay, so that's that. And also this can be utilized as a method to decide which of the applications you want to block or allow. Like suppose I feel like I don't want to allow any application which has the capability to transfer files, I can block this. Okay.
One more thing is like, can we? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
Uh,
tell me.
yeah, you have already explained like you can block the some of the features in particular application. Okay, got it.
Okay. So it depends on whether there is, complete, subcategories or not. Okay. Like if somebody comes to me and says that I want to block WhatsApp group chat. Now they have not developed anything like that, right? So this thing cannot be done. Okay, okay. They just consider it as WhatsApp based, whether you use the group chat or whether you use the regular one-to-one chat. So some things can be done and some things cannot be done based on what options we have. Okay. Now, when you go here in Applepedia, suppose if you click on this application, Facebook Chat, if you look at Facebook Chat, it has these two things here. There is depends on, okay, and there is implicit use. What's the difference between them? Okay? And what we mean by depends on or implicit use. Okay. See, suppose if you block Facebook Chat, okay, or suppose in my organization we want to allow Facebook Chat, okay. Now, since we want to allow Facebook Chat, just think about it in general. Tell me this: if I don't allow people to open Facebook.com, okay, like they cannot open this, and I say no, you are allowed to do chat. Will it work? It won't work, right? Like if I'm not allowed to open the Facebook website and you are allowing Facebook chat, it won't work, right? Because if the person cannot open the Facebook base application, like if Facebook base includes all the things related to opening Facebook and logging in and stuff. So that's why if you look at these applications, there is something called depends on. What does depends on mean? Like suppose I want to allow Facebook chat, I if I want that, it has a dependency on Facebook base. Okay, Facebook chat depends on Facebook base. So if you don't allow this Facebook base and you want to allow Facebook chat, that's not possible. Okay, do you get the point? Like you cannot restrict people from opening Facebook site. Like this is the thing currently that we are using, and then allow them to chat. There is no way to do that. So there is something called depends on. And there is also dependency on MQTT. This is just for a sub application or protocol kind of thing for utilized for chatting, MQTT. So point is, if an application, okay, any application has depends on, then these applications must be allowed in some rule if you want to allow this Facebook chat application. Did you get the point? it's not necessary to allow these to also in the same rule where we allowed Facebook chat. You could allow these things in a different rule. But point is, if you want to allow Facebook chat and don't want to allow this, not possible. Okay, it's going to give you warnings. Okay, you can configure it and commit it, but it's going to give you a warning like, you have application dependencies which have not been configured properly, so you'll have to double check. But at the same time, there is also something called implicit use. Okay, what is implicit use? In implicit use, they tell you the applications which will be used by default for Facebook chat. You don't need to allow these applications separately in a security policy rule in order for you to allow Facebook chat. Okay, and let's see it practically. Okay, before I go into that, I'll also clarify with another example. Suppose if I go for Google. Okay, now if you look at Google, there is Google base. Okay, what is Google base? You can get that to know from here. Okay, but I'll just tell you like what is Google base. It means that you are allowed to open Google and do Google search. Okay, fine. But see, in order for Google to work, it is utilizing the services of web browsing, SSL, right? So if you look at again the Applepedia page for it, for Google, okay, what you'll find there is that it implicitly, it by default will use SSL and web browsing. Okay, Google will be by default using web browsing and SSL. You don't need to allow these two applications separately in any rule or this rule. Okay, it will be further clear. Okay, because you see here there is no depends on. Okay, so let me show you practically this thing. And then we'll go through the slides. Okay, let's just modify this rule. I'll say internet access source. If you're coming from under zone, going to Bahar zone, okay, and say action is allowed. Okay, now see, for me, there are some things which I'll have always from outside, like I don't have any DNS server within this topology. All the DNS are getting resolved public DNS server. I'll have to allow at least this DNS. Okay. And let's allow ping as well, okay, because sometimes we might want to check the connectivity. Now see, Uh, we have kept it application default action hello okay and will come up. No, I have not allowed actually any internet access. I've just set DNS and thing. Okay. So if I go on Win2, actually I think the NAT is there. If not, let me just enable the rules back because we had disabled some rules. Let's disable this. Let's enable dynamic NAT. Okay. So that everybody is able to go out on internet. Not dynamic, actually bad. It's good. I had enabled it. Okay, yeah. So fine. Okay, so if I open Win3 or Win2, we should be able to access internet. And for that purpose, let's utilize Win2 better because we have Mozilla installed here. See, if I open google.co.in, it will not open, definitely, because we have not allowed web browsing. But if I try to ping google.com, it works. Why? Because we have allowed, first thing, DNS queries to go out. So google.com was resolved into this IP. And then when it sent a ping is also allowed. That is happening. But if I try to open google.com, it's not going to work. Now, let's do it this way. suppose I allow web browsing, and because web browsing is just HTTP based, for HTTPS I'll have to enable SSL. So we have allowed, okay, for application DNS ping SSL web browsing. Now see, if I go back to Win2, suppose if I open IM editor, okay, or if I open Cisco.com, it's opening up. Okay, we don't need to open the whole website, but it's working, right? Cisco.com, I think that should work as well. Okay, so it's working, sufficient for us this much. Okay, fine. So now see, check this out. If I try to open google.com, this is something which should not have worked. Okay, so it allowed to open google.co.in. It didn't allow to open google.com. I think we have some issue app ID in this unlicensed one. Maybe it's because they didn't have the appropriate later updates. Okay, but you see, like google.com is not working, or if I open even gmail.com, that's not working. Okay, now question comes, okay, we had allowed web browsing, we had allowed uh, what you call SSL, then why is it not working? Okay, consider it this way. Okay, if firewall has an app ID for something, like for Google, it has an app ID. Okay, for similarly, you know, Gmail, it has an app ID. Okay, then if you have enabled app ID in these rules, you must enable Google or Gmail specifically in the Applepedia and the app page. Okay, what I mean by that is, if I want these applications to work, I'll have to enable Google Base. Okay, if I want to enable Facebook, I have to allow Facebook Base. Okay, and likewise for even Gmail there is. Okay. So now if I comment, see, done. Now see, if I go to Win2 and if I open google.com, it's working. If I open gmail.com, that will work as well. Okay. Yeah, only Google search, not all the Google applications. Now see, for that you have to go here and check dependency. Okay, like I'll show you. If you just search for Gmail base, okay, you click on this. What you see here is it depends on what. Without enabling Google Base, you cannot allow people to access Gmail. Okay, but now consider this as well. If I go back to the firewall, and suppose I don't have this, okay, fine. I removed web browsing and SSL. Okay. Also, when doing these practicals, make sure you erase the browsing history or use a private window or incognito mode because sometimes that can be an issue. I preferably will use uh, private window from next time onwards. Just erase everything. Okay, so let's try to open something. Okay. If I try to open google.com, and if I try to open gmail.com, yeah, we can have an application response page. We'll look at that. Okay. We'll even talk about app ID and application keys and stuff tomorrow. So see, it should work. Okay. Like see, Google is opening. Okay. Now, if you look at this Google, okay, Google also uses SSL and web browsing, but see, these are implicitly used, right? They are not dependent on this. That is why, if you see in our security policy, we didn't allow SSL or web browsing, did we? But still, Google is opening. Why? It utilizes the services of web browsing and SSL, but that is implicitly used. That is allowed by default. Okay. That is why you see Google opening perfectly fine. I think I may be typing the Gmail. Uh, Something wrong with that, but like if I open from here, I'm able to open. Okay. So Gmail will work because it depends on Google. Okay. It won't work if we don't allow Google. I hope you got the basic of like what is depends on and what is implicit use. Okay. Let's go through some of the slides from here. Okay. So app ID classifies based on well-known ports and protocols for basic classification. But for further deep packet inspection, it has some signatures. Okay. Now, what is signature like? Like uh, Palo Alto has made these proprietary uh, application properties and like the characteristics that they check. Okay. They check for these things like I'll give you an example. Like okay. So suppose if you look at the HTTP header. Okay. Most of the times network engineers have never looked at it. They are something like this. Okay. If you capture a packet of HTTP, it will have something like where am I going, what method I'm using, and stuff. Now, if you read this, what you see is that here it's going to twitter.com. That's the host. The path that I'm going is twitter.com/i/tweet/create. So if some device like Palo Alto looks and goes till application layer, it can figure out from this thing that this is somebody utilizing Twitter. Okay, and this is not from layer 4. Okay, this is from the layer 7 stuff that you are able to figure out this. Okay, you get my point? Like when we say signatures, what do you look for? Okay.
Can this be done using Wireshark?
You can open a packet capture through Wireshark, not a problem. But my point is like, you don't have to manually do it. I'm just, I want you to have an understanding like, what is that Palo Alto is really looking at.
This actually I was doing using Bubsuit.
Mhm. See, it doesn't matter. You don't have to do it manually. I just wanted to show you that how does Palo Alto recognize these things separately? It recognizes by looking at the layer 7 headers like this.
Okay.
So if you look at then decryption, okay, there is also SSL decryption which is supported. We'll configure this, so don't worry about getting too much involved into it right now. But for some websites, we can have decryption enabled so that they don't have encryption end to end. Okay. Problem with end to end encryption is suppose if somebody downloads a malware using HTTPS. If firewall is not able to look at the packets going back and forth, then obviously the user will be able to download the malware, right? But if you enable SSL decryption, okay, then if a person tries to download a malware, since firewall can decrypt it, okay, and don't think that this is something magical like HTTPS is a broken thing. No, it's basically getting involved into a handshake and trying to pull off a man in the middle kind of thing for SSL decryption to work. Okay. Now, then there is something called the decoder, which look inside the packet for tunnel traffic. Like sometimes people try to utilize uh, tunneling, and they'll maybe use proxy and browse websites which should not be allowed like that. So decoders will go further, even like at the layer, maybe outer it shows some website, but in further in because they are using some proxy website, they are opening something else. So decoders can look into that. Okay. So actions, you have block, allow. Okay. QS can be implemented based on app ID as well. Obviously, if you have block, then traffic will be blocked. Allows allow action allows it to scan for other things if you have antivirus, file blocking, and these other things. Okay. Updates to this database of app ID are issued weekly. Okay. So simple. Uh, when you are sending traffic, app ID identifies traffic based on the first packet. Okay. Because the first packet will help it in identifying what is the source address, destination address, source code, destination port, and application data. But when you talk about TCP, TCP doesn't have uh, everything in the first packet, because in the initial packet there will be SYN, SYNAC, ACK, there will be a three-way handshake. So TCP three-way handshake helps it identify the source address, destination address, source code, destination port, and application data. Okay. Now there can be application shifts. What is application shift? Like suppose I open Google, okay, but then I go to Google Drive. That's an application shift. Okay. So network traffic can shift from one application to another during a session. Okay. So what happens is, like suppose if you open google.com, when three-way handshake is happening, okay, tell me this. When three-way handshake is happening between the PC and Google server, okay, what will you classify this packet at that time? Because at that time you don't really have the data. What you have is SYN, SYNAC, and ACK, right?
Yes.
And port numbers. So during that, you identifying it based on port number, like okay, it's web browsing. But once the data starts flowing back and forth here, you might identify this as google.com. Okay. Similarly, if person opens gmail.com, we might further say that application has shifted to Gmail or Google Drive or Google Hangout or whatever they have said. Okay. Now you can have very granular control. Okay, like I have already discussed. We can give access to Facebook, prohibit user from using Facebook chat. Okay, fine. Next, we have already discussed Applipedia, so you can go to this to check it out. Okay, and it's also present locally within the firewall, so you can check it out there as well. It provides the details on applications. Palo Alto can identify. We saw that. Okay, there are application dependencies among items listed in App ID database, right? Like I told you, that there are two things. One is depends on, okay, and another is implicit use. If you talk about depends on, you will have to manually permit the supporting app if an application object depends on another application object, okay, but it is not used implicitly. The same thing that I tried to explain to you. Okay. So taking an example, if you see, like if you search on Facebook, it gives you this output. If you open Facebook chat, okay, like I showed you, it depends on this implicit use. So application have depends on where the application object that need to be separately allowed or mentioned. So if I want to allow Facebook chat, I need to allow Facebook base MQTT. If you don't do that, it's going to give you a warning. I'll show you that. Okay. Let's allow web browsing. Now see, what I'm doing here now is I'll allow Facebook chat. Okay. Fine. But see, have I allowed Facebook base? No. So if I click OK, and if I try to commit, it's going to validate it and give you a warning here. That it's not like the commit didn't complete. Commit completed successfully, but it's giving you a warning that this rule that you have, there is an application dependency warning. Facebook chat requires Facebook base to be allowed, and also Facebook chat requires you to allow MQTT. So if you see such warning, you know what to do. Okay, it's not necessary to allow it in the same rule. You can have another rule in which you have Facebook base or MQTT allowed. Okay, I hope you got it. Fine.
Yes.
So can be done in same policy or different policy. Example, Facebook chat has depends on Facebook base.
Sudhanshu,
Yeah.
I need to go somewhere. Is the session, are you continuing this session
No, no, no.
till
I'm not
more?
continuing. I just want to discuss the next slide because we have already discussed it here. Okay. So
Okay,
implicit
okay.
use, same thing. Okay, I'll land it just here. Okay. So current PanOS versions have an option of implicit use for many application objects, like I showed you. Implicit uses. Okay. If an application object implicitly uses some other application object, then it will be added automatically to allowed list, like I showed you. Okay. So many common applications allow parent applications. So suppose like I showed you that for allowing Google, we didn't have to allow SSL in web browsing. Like Facebook base, implicitly will use SSL in web browsing. You don't have to manually allow it. Okay. Rest we'll talk tomorrow about application group and filters. Okay. Fine. See you guys tomorrow. Have a nice day. Yeah. So you want it? You don't want it? Okay.
Today,
What
3
happened to
p.m.
your
any
exam? Okay, okay, fine.
any meeting today? 3 p.m.
No, actually, he said that he won't be able to attend in morning, so I said, I'll discuss the basics
Okay,
at
okay.
3 p.m. with
Right.
him. So
Okay,
no, we are not meeting.
okay,
We'll meet tomorrow, same
okay,
time as always. Okay.
okay. Thank you.